What's up, guys? I'm CJ, and this is my 10,000 hours interview.
So, CJ, where are you from?
Originally, I was born in Chino Hills, but right now I'm staying over. I mean, all my life I've been in the Moreno Valley, Mobile, the Murder, however you want to call it, IE. But yeah, all my life I've pretty much been from Moreno Valley. Went to college in San Bernardino, Cal State. Did some time in Riverside before I moved out to like NorCal. But yeah, pretty much Inland Empire, born and raised.
So, I listened to Acid Volume 2. Love
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Just curious to know what's your favorite song from the EP.
Okay, that's a good question. I like the intro. I like the intro because I like the transitions, and I worked with Jesse. Shout out to Jesse, who we did the song with. Kind of did the beat from scratch. But other than that, I really like. My favorite off there might be the song I did with my guys Eli and Toss, live from the IE.
Mhm.
So yeah, that one everyone went in, kind of had fun with, had my guys on that one. So shout out to them.
Yeah, I fuck with them. That one was my favorite song. Musically, which artists inspire you the most?
Okay, I'll say off the top, my favorite rapper of all time, I'd have to say, is Lil Wayne. So he influenced me a lot just in rapping. But then the artistic part of me, a lot of Kid Cudi in my music. I gotta throw in Kanye. Of course, it was old Kanye that I grew up with, but I still mess with a lot of his new stuff too. But even a lot of Queen, a lot of Freddie Mercury, David Bowie. I can go way back, Tom Petty. A lot of alternative hard rock from back in the day. So yeah,
Nice variety. So I was doing some research, so tell me a little bit about the Rap For Me podcast.
Okay, Rap For Me podcast. Yeah, shout out to the squad. Everybody who's part of the Rap For Me podcast. Me and Justice, we're just shout out my guy Justice. Me, Justice, and we got another buddy Tosper. We're kind of like Edda and Eddie. We're just trying to get those schemes, like how are we gonna make it, how are we gonna, get that quick money. So yeah, Justice is kind of like he's kind of like Eddie. He's kind of like the one with the brain. He comes up with the schemes and stuff. So yeah, he was like, let's do something with a podcast. Let's try, use a podcast to kind of network with people, get people to meet each other, and also put ourselves out there in a sense, so everyone's kind of helping each other out. It's a win-win for everybody. So that's kind of how it started, as a small little podcast out in Riverside, and then from there it kind of grew. Now we're out in LA over at the Trendsetters Barbershop, where we film right now. So yeah, it kind of came was kind of an idea out of nowhere, and it was kind of a matter of, okay, well, we kind of started with the music, which was kind of my lane. Okay, how are we going to start putting out music, albums, like, consistently? Once we found that out, I was like, okay, what else can we do to kind of branch out? So I was like, okay, let's try producing a podcast. So that's how that came about, and from there we're kind of scheming up on other stuff. So it's just kind of a landmark or a stop on our way to trying to find out and figure out how all this stuff works. But yeah, shout out to Justice. That's pretty much all him. I'm kind of just the entertainment, the roots to the Jimmy Fallon show, pretty much. So.
Final question. Since the name of your EP was Acid Volume 1 and Acid Volume 2, have you ever done acid? And if so, share something from a trip that you'd never forget.
Acid. Yeah, I've definitely done acid. Acid trip. You know what? I have a cool story. I've never really had a bad trip on, acid or any other hallucinogen. But a good time I had one time was out in Chico. This was back when I had moved over up north for school. Yeah, there were a group of guys I had met out there, pretty chill guys. Shout out to those guys. If they're watching, they'll know who they are. But yeah, it was kind of their first time. So I was kind of the one. They were like, "Oh, you do acid, blah blah. Like, can we?" So I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Kind of their introduction. But it was more like I remember that day I had an idea too. I was like, they should have like an Uber, but for like acid trips, to where you have like a babysitter. He was kind of like, okay, let's go on the field trip, because that whole day we kind of just went exploring, like hiking, went to a lake, you know, we explored like this forest and stuff like that, because up north it's white people stuff, you're in the woods and stuff like that. So but it was great. It was their first time. They had fun. I kind of, you know, microdosed a little bit, but kind of was their leader for the day. So it was a real good time. I still remember that day to this day. Like, it was a really dope time. So
Yeah, well, thank you for coming through.
yeah, of course.
We gonna get some music out of you?
Definitely, of course.
All right, let's go to the booth then.